If you want to improve in FC26, you can come join my Patreon series, patreon.com/nil guys. If you don't give it after 1 month, I'll refund your money. It's a nil guys guarantee. More information at the end of the video. So we're going to go over tactics, but not just that, ones that can help you improve definitely inside the game. So if you're struggling with defending, we're going to show you some tactics, but I'm also going to tell you some harsh truths as usual. Now this 4-4-1-1, absolute brilliant. Top 3 tactics in the game, but only if you're a top tier player. I think the best way to probably describe this is, it's kind of like tactics are more like a paintbrush, as I always say. You know, you can give the best paint in the world. You can give them a twig, and they can paint the best portrait ever. You can give me the best paintbrush known to mankind. I can't even make a stick, man. So what the point I'm trying to make is, it's not the skill of the formation or the tactics, it's the skill of yourself. That is why the 4-4-1-1, although it can be used, and I think a lot of people use it, you're going to struggle defensively with it. You're better off using a formation, whether I like to say it or not. You're better off using something like a 4-2-1-3 as opposed to something like a 4-4-2, because you have CDMs. Now, I'm not saying you have to put box crasher on. That's why when I make these tactics videos, I always say, look, the code is there if you want to copy it, but realistically, you should be making the changes yourself. It's kind of like a seat in your car, where you sit in the car and where maybe your partner sits, or maybe your son or your daughter, your mum or your dad. Everyone has different seat positions. You have to adjust it for your own style. So if you want to make it the most, so let's say you're like, you want Neil, give me the most offensive formation ever, okay? Let's say you want something like this. That would be the best 4-2-1-3 with a playmaker in cam. This would be the most, I would say, defensive-minded 4-2-1-3. This would be the one that would probably be equally very good attacking, but equally very good defensive. So you have that bit of the halfway point. Now, whenever I say if you can't defend with this formation, you probably can't defend any other formation, because the truth is, even if you're left mid and you're right mid, or in this case, left wing and right wing, let's say they came back to help you defensively, you're still going to be taken in the middle. So it's not that the formation is bad, it's effectively you can't defend. Now, let's say you wanted, on paper, the most defensive formation, at least centrally. I would say something like this. You could argue 5 backs, but let's not get into that territory today. But you could do something like this. You can put both the 4 backs on defend, and this, and then you can put, for example, both of these playing. And don't forget, deep line playmaker defend is the most deepest a player can sit defensively, okay? And then your center mid, you can put them on holding. Now, you can't have 3 CDMs. You can have 2 CDMs. So this would be effectively the most narrow formation. That's the most compact. That's the most defensive. As opposed to a cam, you now have a center mid. So obviously every position has like a range of where they can sit. So for example, a cam may sit in this range. So it could be anywhere here. So you can see a center mid just sit slightly deeper, just in front of the CDMs. This would be effectively the best defensive. I'll probably use this more to close the game out. You'll see a formation video on this soon. And if you want to go even more defensive, you can go with something like this. You can put a deep line playmaker defend. It's actually a very good formation. I've been using it. It's very, very good, especially because this formation is notably known to be a bit defensive. But because the attack is, I'm not going to say so good, it's more of defense being so bad, or so hard, not bad. Let me make sure I reword that correctly. Defense being so hard for people to use. But you could do something like this, and wingers, they normally come back the most. But if you want to make this even more defensive, you can go like this, okay? And then let's say you're like, you know what, Neil, I need it more defensive. I don't think anyone's going to do this. But you can even go with something like this. You can go with playmaker, and then you can put them on build up. That's the lowest they sit. This would be, in theory, on paper, the most defensive formation in a 4-back that you can use with 2 CDMs. Now, truly, if you can't defend with this formation, this is a good example. Use this formation. If you can't defend with it, there's no formation that can save you. You hear that? There is no formation that can save you. That means it's your gameplay. That's good. Now you kind of got out of the bear. You're thinking the formation is the bad thing. Now you know it's the gameplay. Now I'm just joking, but on a serious level though, you know at that point it's not the game, it's not the formation, it's you. And it's important to admit this truth. Now again, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't care if you like me or not. I'm a teacher at the end of the day. But other people are not going to say this. They want you to like them. As a content creator, that's your job. You want to be, people will live off you. So that's the truth. But that's not what I live off. So you got to bear that in mind. So make sure you realistically use players here that you're also good with. Now, one thing I want to mention, I'm not saying don't try, for example, a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-4-2. I'm not saying don't try it. Of course you should go and try it. But if you're watching this video and you're that kind of person that's, okay, this for 3 games. Oh no, I lost 2 games. I won 4. All of a sudden now I've lost 3. then you go into this formation, then you go into that formation. I can tell you from coaching thousands of students, you're going to end up in this cycle for years. Get out of it now. Snap out of it now. Otherwise, you're going to end up going back and forth, staying in rank 5 your entire life. Make sure you make the changes now. So in my opinion, I would stick with the 4-2-1-3. I think overall, it's the best formation for everyone. I think for beginners, for mid-tier, and even top tier. However, the pro players, the really top tier players, I like 4-4-2. I like 4-4-1-1 as well. It's one of my favorites. The only issue is that it's deadly defensively. If you make a mistake, you are in trouble. I made a video on defending. Check that video out like a few days ago, but I mentioned center mids, CDMs, they sit deeper. Center mids, they sit higher. So what happens is, psychologically speaking, if you have a high depth, people are using this as like a solution of being closer to the opponent to try to be aggressive. That may work in division 6 and 5, and it does work. I'm not gonna lie. But as you get to division 3s and so on, you're up against competent players. It's not going to work. This is the problem. I think this is how people get into this rut of, oh, it's working sometimes. But when you verse someone who doesn't know what they're doing, like I could play my grandma. She doesn't know how to play the game, but I could beat, like I can win like 5-0, 10-0 easily, like the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But I'm saying if I verse someone as competent, a pro player, it's not going to be the same story. I'm probably going to end up losing against like one of the best pro players in the world. So you have to understand, you have to make those changes to your gameplay. And that's why the 4-4-1-1, I'm not saying don't use it. I think it's a fantastic formation, but you need to be at that level where you at least know the basics of defending. And as I said, if you want to get better at F26, I'd recommend, you know what I'd recommend here? I'd recommend my FC school from last year. What it is, we've got the FC school from last year. You can watch the defending videos. You might be thinking, why am I going to watch videos from last year? This is a question everyone's been asking me. These theory videos have been the same theory videos we've been releasing with minor changes for the last 6-7 years. It's worked every single time. Do you think pro players learn defending? No, they know how to defend. They just adapt to the gameplay. It's kind of like buying a new car. Maybe, for example, your start button is, for example, on the right-hand side. Now, if, for example, it's gone to the center console. There's small things they adapt. Doesn't mean they forgot how to drive. They still know how to drive the car, but they just adapt to the car. Maybe the steering wheel is different. Maybe the seat position is different. So these are all the things. So you can watch these defending videos. These are the basics of defending. And I can guarantee you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those videos alone, as long as you watch it properly, implement, watch your gameplay back, do exactly what we tell you, I'll guarantee you'll fix your defending. The link will be down below in the description for that. But also I want to mention to you, it's not impossible. You can't go 0 goals. Okay. When I'm up against a top tier player, the game's 5-4. I mean, I don't mind that. I would rather, like, who wants to sit there passing the ball around to score 1-0? When you play online, you think it's fun. It's not. It's fun for you now, but go give your opponent the ball and let them pass the ball around for 60 minutes, and then you'll see how fun the game is. But on the higher end, people are holding the ball much more, because now what people are finding is if you lose the ball, counterattacks are deadly. So on the higher end, people who know how to defend, there's less goals. It's not like 10-10. It's like maybe 5-4, maybe sometimes 3-2. Sometimes you might get the odd games. There's like 8-7. That's fine. You know, it's normal. But that's how it should realistically be. You can't, of course, make a realistic game with one person controlling 11 players on the pitch, all working under one mind. It doesn't work. Anyway, guys, I hope that helped. The main takeaway is you want to use a formation with CDMs. The 4-1-2-1-2 actually is quite a good formation to defend on a narrow system. The problem is on the wider areas, you don't have anyone defending because you can't adjust your defensive width. I don't know why the EA removed that, but they should have fine-tuned that, but you can't. That's why the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, it will never be used on the professional scene unless the meta is more centralized defending. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard. You have to keep manually moving these players and pulling them out wide, which is not feasible. So realistically, anything, even like so let's say you like the 4-4-2, then use the 4-2-2-2. Or let's say you like, as I said, the 4-2-4, or you like the 4-4-2, and you're like, you know what? I love this. I want 2 strikers. I want to play the classic, but I'm strongly defensively. Then you can go with like a 4-4-2 holding. At least that way you have CDMs. But at least CDMs, they sit close to your defensive line. It's easier for you to defend. And for people that are using defenders with 80 pace, I've been saying this for so long now, guys. You can't get rid of those players with 80 sprint speed. Go for the high sprint speed players. Put a sentinel on them and you're fine. But I think that's everything. I hope this helps. So realistically, any formation with CDMs, keep your left back and right back on defend. And in case you're wondering about the depth, I would personally, even though technically high is the way to go this year, I would probably use balanced and just get used to defending without AI pressure. What also happening as well is some people are getting the ball because of the team auto pressing and they thinking that they're defending very good. But what's happening is if EA nerf this, you're going to be back to square one. So at least use balance. Struggle a little bit now. Just get used to defending. My defending, I put like literally for free. I put like literally an hour worth of defending videos. You can watch those. You guarantee get better FC. If you don't, you come to my Patreon series, patreon.com/no. Not just that, we have other videos as well. We've got the FC school from last year. We've even got the Division 10 to Elite series. Now, I'll tell you something. The gameplay is actually almost similar to last year. The game's just faster and a bit more manual. But you can see the basics. Thankfully, I always teach you the basics, so you'll always be ahead. But you've got the pro analysis, how to apply teammate contain, all these functions as well. And of course, we've got all the roles and tactics, setting up your team. And of course, the FC series this year. We've got the new mechanic abuse series as well that we're starting. Remember, if you don't get better after 1 month, we will refund your money. So no guys guarantee. Links down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time.